G'day guys, welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. I'm your host and my co-host Britsburgh, Owen, and today we have Devin Engle from the Here We Go show. How's it going, Devin? What's going on, mate?
Doing good. Excited to talk some Steelers football, get some fun conversation going in the dead of the off season. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about that off air for a little bit. Like, what are we going to talk about today? I have no idea because we are like dead set in the middle of what July 11th or July 10th, just after 4th of July. Even the players are going on holiday, like Motes and Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt. All the players are going away on holiday, and we're right here. It's like, okay, we're 3 weeks away from the actual season, and what do we talk about? But we are the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we want to talk about everything. So before we get into it, Owen, do you want me to kick it off with the old intro?
Oh, let's go for it. Let's get our cheesy music, man.
All right. Okay. All right, Devin. So we want to hear your story, mate. What's going on? I want to start with. I know we should start with your, Steelers stuff. What's going on with your channel? What inspired you to make your channel the Here We Go show?
So growing up, I guess you got to go all the way back to how I became a Steeler fan in the first place. Not a super cool story. My grandpa grew up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, which is about 3 hours from Pittsburgh, and then he grew up watching the 70s Steelers dynasties back in the 70s. Then he came to California. My dad came around, and then he started taking me to a Steeler bar here in Los Alamitos, California, called the Starting Gate. You look it up, you can find it. So I grew up going there, watching Steeler games every Sunday, every season. Got my first jersey was a Ben Roethlisberger jersey. And yeah, ever since then, been watching every Steeler game, every season. And then eventually COVID came around. And, it's bored. Everyone's bored at home, nothing to do. And watching a bunch of sports podcasts, it's like, I want to start my own. So originally I started a football podcast about all 32 NFL teams. Turns out I don't know jack about all 31 other NFL teams. So I said, okay, I'm going to scrap this. I'm going to make a whole new Steelers channel called the Here We Go Show. I came up with the name and everything. And
also,
name,
2 years. Fantastic name, by the way. Because that is like the people can take it and do their own YouTube. There's no copyright laws, but there's good name.
I've never admitted this. I came up with the name myself, like sitting at the kitchen table trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to call this Steelers channel? In my head, okay, the word Here We Go rhymes with show. Call it the Here We Go Show. I look it up. A podcast from 3 years ago also had the name the Here We Go Show, but it was inactive. So I said, I'll take the name. Gladly.
Yeah, man, run with it. And people make it better. I did the same thing with my Steeler Nation Australia. I found like 2 different things on Facebook, but they didn't go through with it. You got to keep at it. You got to keep going and going and going. So I think it's a great show because, name too, because Here We Go is our also there are so many things. I'll try and mute myself. There is guys next door to me, like building a house. If you can hear that. Can you hear that right now?
I can.
Oh, wow. Okay. Anyways, it is loud. So I'll pass it to Owen for a little bit.
Is that the grinder back again?
Yeah. Can you guys hear that or not?
A little bit, man. A little bit.
Okay.
It's not distracting.
Owen, what do you think about Devin's show on YouTube?
Yeah, it's quality, man. I enjoy watching it. So Devin, tell me, growing up, so who were your big heroes? Who were the guys you really loved watching for the Steelers?
Growing up, I'll say it, Antonio Brown was my favorite player during his prime. And then, man, we all saw what happened there. It was sad. I defended him all the way until the end. But then, in hindsight, it's like, man, he really did turn into a real nut job, it seems like. Mm-hmm. So after that, it's like, okay, well, who's my new favorite player? 2017, we draft Juju Smith-Schuster, who grew up 15 minutes away from me. So, and then after his rookie season, he hosted a football camp for all minors or whatever, anybody under the age of 18. So when I was 17, I went to that. I went there as a running back, practiced with him, got pictures with him. He was one of my favorites all the way up until he left. Now I got to say it's probably Najee. Bought his jersey last season. Yeah, probably Antonio Brown, Juju, Najee. My 3 favorite players growing up.
Where would you stand on the letting Antonio retire as a Steeler debate?
You guys are putting me on the spot. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm split on it. Like, whatever the Steelers decide, I'll probably roll with that decision. Personally, if I was in charge, I would say, man, if we let you retire a Steeler and you continue doing some nut job things, that's gonna look bad on me. So yeah. I don't know. I'm split. I'm real split.
Well, that's the key point, though, is in that whole debacle, Antonio Brown decided to, I want to retire a Steeler. It wasn't like the Steelers were saying, hey, we're inviting you. Do you wish to retire? He brought up the whole notion, and that's what sparked it. So I'm a huge AB fan as well. I went to the Steelers versus Ravens Christmas Day, the Immaculate Reception, which is like one of the best plays, right? But I still find that Eli Rogers was was probably the better play. The catch over the head and to get the first down was like, everyone forgets about that. But AB was my guy too. But he went a bit crazy. And he can say that because he's got like millions and millions and millions of dollars. Right now, he doesn't care. So I don't care about him too much anymore. There's always going to be he's always going to be like, oh, will he come back? Won't he come back? Will he play again? I think he's done. I think he's just living the lifestyle, what he's living now, the rap career, and he's doing that kind of stuff. But he was a tremendous player, right, Devin? Like for the Steelers, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I would say if he stayed sane, if he stayed like just a normal football player, I think we all agree he would have been a Hall of Famer because some of the stat lines he was putting up, some of the greatest we've ever seen. And then you just look at his play on the field, making plays that I've never seen before, like the Immaculate Reception. How often you see something like that? Hall of Fame plays after Hall of Fame plays. Then he goes crazy. He goes to the Raiders, goes to the Patriots for like a week or two, goes to the Bucks.
He went to the Raiders and he said to, I love you, Derek Carr. And then like 3 videos later, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's like, what is happening? And then it's just that whole thing. I think even football couldn't really, football loves drama, but it gets to the point where it's like, you're just trying to be bigger than the brand and your art is AB and you calling God and doing all this stuff and whatever. Right. And I'm not saying nothing against God. I'm just saying, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. He knows what he was doing half the time.
I think it's true. It's true testament, though, isn't it, to Mike Tomlin that he's the only coach that's ever been able to control him and get the best out of him. Just because if you look at, at the end, it all went slightly awry. But in the time that he was with Pittsburgh, Tomlin was the only coach who's been able to keep a lid on him and get the best out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Devin? What are your thoughts? Sorry to cut you off. What are your thoughts on Coach Tomlin? Are you a Tomlin hater?
Okay, so I've never been a Tomlin hater, but as I grew older watching the team, it's like, okay, I'm split on Coach Tomlin because on one hand, not many playoff wins in the latter half of his career. Also, not too much, playoff success. Hasn't been to a Super Bowl in almost a decade. I'm sorry. 2 decades. I'm sorry. No, a little more than a decade. Whatever.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he took an effing practice squad to 1 game away from the playoffs in 2019. But then that one interview came out with him on the pivot, and then he kind of revealed, I'm sure you guys saw with Ryan Clark and all that. And then I saw you saw Coach Tomlin as a human, and you saw his coaching philosophy really come out. And you don't see more human Coach Tomlin. You see the deflecting answers at press conferences. That's what you see his whole career.
Yeah.
But then he opens up on that one podcast and it's like, okay, you know what? I'm on Coach Tomlin's side. He's probably not the problem in Pittsburgh. Got to see other guys perform, So I'm with Coach Tomlin now.
Yeah, 100%. I think even this year too will be, and we'll start talking about 2022. But this year, I think will be a good, barometer or test to see what Tomlin. If honestly, if Tomlin goes out there and wins a few games at the start, I'm like, Tomlin haters, go kick rocks, because the guy, he is a legend, and he will be. I think he will be in the Hall of Fame. I think as long as he plays, and maybe if he gets one more Super Bowl, and he's never had a losing season, that's quite big. And all the other teams, we have our mate here, Derek from Gridiron Blitz and Detroit Lions Syndicate, and he is in shell shock that the Pittsburgh fans don't like him, or some don't anyway. But I appreciate what he's done with the team, and I appreciate what he's doing. in 2022. And I also appreciate that the players and the coaches and some of the guys want to play for Coach Tomlin. So, but let's move into 2022.
I know one more thing on Tomlin. If you think about the last 2019, 2020, 2021, last 2 out of the last 3 seasons. I mean, like Devin said, 2019, he had a duck and a reindeer as quarterbacks, and he got them to the verge of the playoffs. And then 2020 he dealt with the pandemic and all that was going on with that, and we got to the playoffs.
Big Ben's last year wasn't the same. Wasn't the same as the previous 15 years, right? So
and then 2021 he takes that pretty awful squad, that awful roster. I think we can all admit the line was 26 out of 32. Ben should have gone in 2020. He'd gone on a season too long. He took that, and we lost to it. We lost Alu. That team was pretty awful. He only finished half a game back of a team that were AFC champions and got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You know what's funny though, fellas, too? We always hear about this notion of Coach Coward's players, but what about the squad that Mike Tomlin is building under his staff now? Because the players that are TJ Watt and of this liking, right? He never gets any credit for that, does he? Finding one of the best defensive players to ever play the game, TJ Watt. It just amazes me that some of these fans just want to put him down so fast and often. And if we don't have Coach Tomlin there, we don't go and get Brian Flores also. So I know we're jumping around a lot, but I want to get your thoughts, Devin. What are your thoughts on the 2022 season? Then we'll start to dive into a little bit. What's going on? Are you happy with the off season?
Oh boy, I think we can all agree. Well, it's more positive. I mean, compared to years past, I have never seen this many moves in free agency. James Daniels, Mason Cole. I don't know. He's a question mark, but he's a move. Who else? Brian Flores. I'm blanking on names. Who are some other guys we brought in? Miles Jack. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Lots of big moves we're bringing in. Lots of underrated moves. I mean, even Miles Boykin. He's a big receiver. He could work.
We're
making a lot of.
Tomlin likes Miles too. Boykin? From the Ravens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think he's said on record that he likes him too. So
he's a special teams ace, isn't he? That's what he is. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's what someone Danny Smith's gonna love.
Oh yeah. Yeah, compared to years past, I've never seen this much free agent movement. That's actually one of my old criticisms of Tomlin. In the offseason, he doesn't make too many free agent moves, but it feels like now that Ben is gone, Mike Tomlin, I don't even know how to describe it. Now that Ben's gone, he feels like they might have a shot at a Super Bowl if they make all kinds of moves. And that's what they did. They upgraded the line, at least marginally. It's still a question mark. We don't even know who our left guard is going to be. We don't know if Mason Cole's going to be good. But James Daniels, that's a move I like from the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the defensive side. First of all, Brian Flores, not only is he going to – I'm sure he'll have some input on the defense, but he's also going to be a good veteran presence there. Also, a damn good coach, I'll admit. And, I see a lot of moves by Mike Tomlin trying to upgrade the team. I'm losing train of thought, but I'm just worried. What's the line going to be like, and what's the quarterback situation going to be like? Mm-hmm. Because I still have to go back and watch Trubisky's film, but in his past, I know he's been in a shitty situation. Can we cuss? Can we swear?
Not overly, but that's okay.
Okay, sorry. Mitch Trubisky has been in a bad situation with Chicago. Mm-hmm. We can acknowledge that. But also, Trubisky hasn't been great. He's been awful in years past. He's had a couple games here and there, right?
He's got a new start now, right? There's a new start for Trubisky now, too. And we have, I want you to expand on this, Owen, too, because we have Trubisky and we have Kenny Pickett. We have, a rookie quarterback and a new quarterback coming into the system. Mm. How did we not get better in the offseason? We all know that Big Ben was – I think we're all favorites of Big Ben. He's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen play the game. But near the end of it, kind of done, right? Kind of done. Yeah. Now we have Trubisky coming from another team who's younger, and Kenny Pickett, who is a new guy. How can we not be excited?
Yeah, I think you're right. Ben obviously was one of the greatest ever, and I think there's obviously that debate, isn't there? And there's debate is always going to go on between Bradshaw and Ben, who is the greatest ever. And I've seen different arguments from different people on that. But yeah, he was done. I mean, 2021, he was stationary. He couldn't move. He wasn't helped by the line, obviously. I mean, was it 2.2 seconds, his average release time last year? But yeah, I think we've got quarterbacks now who are mobile, quarterbacks who are going to fit the Canada system, whatever that is, if it works. But I think, like Devin was saying about, Mitch was in Chicago. I think Mitch was sort of a victim of the Nagy curse. Nagy is an awful head coach. He's an awful offensive coach as well. And I think one of the reasons why Chicago got rid of him was the fear that he was doing to Fields what he'd done to Trubisky. He tried to turn Trubisky into a pocket passer, something Trubisky isn't. He is. If you look back at his college tape from North Carolina, he's a mobile quarterback. He likes to expand the pocket. He likes to extend plays. He likes to run with the ball. That's who he is, and that's something that was never really fostered in Chicago. He turned into a sort of dink and dunk passer, and told that obviously use Montgomery to hand the ball off to. So I think we'll see a better Trubisky this year. Given as well that he was in Buffalo last year, where he's learned from Daboll and Dorsey and Allen, who are fantastic. Brian Daboll is obviously, well, so goes the rumors, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL at the moment, and Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL at the moment. So hopefully some of the positivity from there is rubbed off on him. And yeah, I agree. Kenny is this new guy, and I think we could well see Kenny before the end of the season, to be honest with you.
I think we go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Devin, what do you think about that situation? Do you think we see Kenny, or do you think we start with Trubisky?
I think all signs are pointing to Trubisky starting week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, Colbert did mention that he wants his first 3 picks to be starters.
Ooh.
And I don't think you go into – that's just something he said. What will that impact? I don't know. But what I will say is you don't go into a season with questions at quarterback.
We might have just lost Devin there for a little bit. He may come back. Do you want to expand on that, Owen, before Devin gets back, and we'll see if we continue this?
Well, in terms of Kenny Pickett, yeah, I think we could well see him. I think obviously a lot depends on how the season starts. I think if we go into the bye with an even record or a losing record, I think after the bye is a prime time when we could actually see Kenny Pickett come into the team. I've seen some really, really interesting comparisons drawn between him and obviously Joe Burrow. I can't remember who it was now. It might have even been Jeffrey Benedict on BTSC. I don't know, but he was drawing some comparisons between Kenny Pickett and Joe Montana, which I thought was really interesting. Seeing that you could see Pickett fitting into that West Coast type offense. His ability to roll out when he needs to. He is exceptionally intelligent in terms of how he reads the field. He reads the game. He reads the defense. I honestly think, if we go into the bye with an even record or even with the losing record, I think coming out of the bye, we could well see Pickett start in that first game after the bye, whoever that's against again. I can't remember now off the top of my head who it's against.
You know what's funny though, if because hopefully Devin comes back in just a minute, but what he says there, if there's no questions at quarterback. We go into the season with one quarterback. There could be a situation where that maybe Trubisky does turn into a backup, because he'd be a fantastic backup, right? And if Kenny Pickett is ready week 1 after the good off season, that they go with Kenny. I'm not too sure what's going to happen, but I think as training camp comes into it, but can you see that role happening where Trubisky is designated backup and they go with Kenny?
Yeah, I can see it happening, but I think Pickett has got to basically come in training camp and in pre-season and not just be better than Trubisky, but be massively better than Trubisky, I think, to be able to take that role. I don't think, knowing the Steelers franchise as they are, I don't think it's a case of, Pickett was better, a little bit better, let's play him. I think they will start Trubisky because they'll go with the experience. But if Kenny comes in pre-season and is massively better than Mitch Trubisky and impresses massively more, then I do think it'll happen.
I think Devin was out there doing a few burnouts. He's like got to pop a few sets out there. Like, what's going on, mate?
Sorry about that. No, my phone. I'm recording on my phone right now. I just got off work. My phone started overheating, so it had to cool down before I could use it again.
Is it hot out there in California way?
A little bit, but I was in the car with the air conditioner off, so I understand why my phone wanted to throw a fit. Anyways, as I was saying, if you want me to continue my train of thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Yeah, sorry about that. So what I was saying was, I think all signs point to Trubisky starting week one.
Mhm.
But okay, so personally, I want Kenny Pickett to start week one. I think he's a great decision maker. I think in this situation, he can probably beat pressure way better than he did at Pitt, because at Pitt, I feel like he didn't deal with pressure very consistently. But with that said, I think the Steelers want to see what they have in Trubisky. I don't think you make Trubisky the QB1 at OTAs if you don't see him starting week one. But also, I think, I feel like Tomlin's just going to start the veteran and keep him on a short leash.
When do you think we know? What day do you think we know that Tomlin and all the guys know that? Do they already know who QB1 is? When will they tell the public, do you think?
Personally, Mike Tomlin told the public that nobody's winning a job out here in shorts. I believe he's just deflecting a question. I think he knows Mitch Trubisky is QB1 until he shows that he's not. Because, I don't know, man. I feel like we'll know come after preseason, probably, as you guys were probably talking about while I was gone. In my opinion, I feel like Kenny's going to be in there before week 8, before the bye. But I feel like, I don't know, you didn't draft a quarterback in the first round to let him sit all season. That's just my opinion. That's what I would do if I was the coach. I love Kenny. I think this is a hot take, but personally, I think he's the best quarterback fit to run this offense compared to Mitch. I still got to watch Mitch's film, but based on Kenny's decision making, I feel like he's the best. I want to see him in there week one, but only time will tell, honestly.
What are your thoughts, Devin, mate, about this defense, this improved defense? Are we top 5 material?
I'll be honest with you. I'm more of an offensive mind, but this defense is freaking awesome. TJ Watt, Miles Jack, Cam Hayward, Tyson Alualu, Larry Ogunjobi, even Alex Highsmith is real good. Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now, I know our secondary isn't very sexy, but what a good defensive line does is it makes your mediocre secondary look way better than they are. Because what happens when you have a good defensive line, you get a lot of pressure with just 4-man rushes, and that allows you to drop more guys into coverage. Helps the secondary look a lot better than last season. And you saw what happened last season. We lose Tyson, we lose Stephon.
Yeah.
You lose
time.
TJ, you lose Alex. Like when a guy named Derek Tuska is your starting edge rusher, yeah, you're screwed.
How do you pronounce that? Tuska. Is that the way to pronounce it?
I don't know. I thought it looks like Tuska. I have no idea.
I get all tripped up all the time, so. And Owen, we've talked about, I think, we've talked about defense a lot on the Syndicate here, but like to me, this defense has a big chance to even help out the offense, right? I think it's going to be like Najee Harris, get Muth involved, whoever the quarterback may be. It looks like Trubisky, but this defense looks pretty fun to watch. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, you've talked about before, Owen, and I don't know if you want to elaborate again, but like Cam Hayward is pissed, right? Cameron Hayward is annoyed.
Oh yeah, he is well annoyed. I was listening actually when I was out this morning walking to the DK show with Dejan Kovacevic and Ramon Foster. And Ramon Foster was relaying the text message he had from Cam Hayward and saying, something along the lines of, I ain't 5th, I ain't 4th, I ain't 3rd, I'm 1 or 2, pick your poison, it's me or Aaron Donald, basically. He is not happy. I mean, he is proper annoyed. And I know we always say these things about, we shouldn't let them, ignore what the media say, whatever. But you know what? When it provides good bulletin board material like this, and it's going to wind up our players to go and play better, use it as much as you want. And he is annoyed, man. I would use a stronger word, but I'm not going to swear. But he is really, really irritated by that.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because he's rated number 5, but he's definitely, I think he's definitely number 1 or 2, and he's always been put down. Do you see a big year again from Cam Hayward, Devin?
Oh yeah. You saw some of the plays he was making last year. Defensive player of the year kind of plays, but in flashes. Like he was never going to be defensive player of the year, especially not with TJ Watt lining 2 guys aside from him. But there were plays he was making, getting pressure against double. What do you call it?
He was
He was getting double teamed.
Yeah, exactly.
Double teamed, pressuring through.
two guys at once, and he ran down the quarterback run. Who was the quarterback?
Justin Herbert.
I was there.
Like,
I was there. I was crazy.
Oh, you went to that game, did you?
I did. I want to say something. A lot of NFL fans saw a play right after a certain play where Cam Hayward looked like he was punching down Justin Herbert. I was there. My Chargers friend who I went to the game with was there. He said, yeah, he didn't punch him. Someone knocked him behind him. He fell onto Justin Herbert. It looked like a punch. It wasn't a punch. I was there. I can confirm that. It's nonsense. People call him a dirty player. Shut up.
even if it was a punch, it was nothing in it. Like, I've seen way worse in rugby league than players what they do with you're almost ripping their heads back or putting their thumbs in their eyes and stuff like that, man. Like this, I saw it too, even from one not being there. And it was just, if it was the way that it looked, it's harmless. But it was like they have padding, like it's nothing too bad. I've seen way worse stuff than that, so it's good to hear to hear your view on it too.
Oh yeah, I feel like even Justin Herbert. I swear I don't know if this actually happened. Might be my memory serving me poorly, but I thought I saw an interview where Justin Herbert was asked, "Hey, how do you feel about Cam Hayward punching you?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I'm sure there's an interview out there. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense.
Might have been where he was just saying, good play, I got you. Like, you can do a friendly punch. Like, I've
maybe
done with my mates before, and I've told jokingly before in Steel Nation Show, I was in Vegas, and I went and gave my guy a punch in the leg. It wasn't my mate. It was some random, like, yeah. I got him really hard in the leg. I got him like a good, 6 out of 10. So those sort of things, I think the media just over dramatizes 100%. But like, Cam's a dude, man. Cam's a guy. And we're just like, the feeling is now that the Steelers are going to come fourth in the AFC North. We won't win more than 8 games. This will be our first losing season. Do you see that? Or do you see like other high expectations for our Steelers this year in 2022?
So honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's all question marks. I mean, you got a new quarter. You don't know who your quarterback's going to be. You don't know who's your best receiver going to be. Is Chase Claypool going to be good? Will Najee improve? What's the offensive line? It's a lot of question marks. Obviously, I'm a biased Steeler fan. I think they're going to do better than 8-8. I think Tomlin deserves the benefit of the doubt that they're going to have a good season than assume they're going to have a bad season, because this has been happening every year of my life. The Steelers are going to be bad, and they go to the playoffs every year. That my whole life, except 2018 and 19. My whole life.
What are your thoughts, Owen? Owen, the closer we get to the season, and you and I, talking, about the defense, offense every day or whatever, are we still the underrated team?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of analysts that are talking down. I mean, I saw something on Good Morning Football the other day. Was it Carl Brandt was talking about the Steelers, and he was saying that in his opinion, he thinks that they are a team that a lot of people are sleeping on. Rich Eisen said the same on his show as well. I think, given the defense we've got, given the fact we've got Najee Harris, given the wide receiver group we've got, given the fact we've got Pat Freiermuth, the line, there are still questions over the tackles, but I think the interior of the line's got better. And we've got Tomlin. I think there's a lot of people sleeping on us, and that's when we do better. I think when we're being written off, that's when the Steelers do better.
I got a question for you both now. So, Devin, are we 1 year away from the Super Bowl? Not this year, but are we building for next year?
Watching Tomlin my whole career, he was my coach my whole career. I don't know. I can't tell you. He's never a guy who's building for the future. He's building to win right now, whether a Super Bowl is realistic or not. Like you saw 2019, even when you had a guy named Duck and a reindeer at quarterback, you're still fighting to go to the playoffs. Like, how many coaches in the league do that? Most of them will just call the season a wrap and then tank. Like, you look at Philly, Jacksonville, when they don't have a good situation, they tank, right? But you do mention one thing, Owen, when you mentioned the defense. I feel like the defense is going to be real good. And if the offense can be any better than 2021, especially the quarterback position, I get flamed for this all the time. I don't really care. It's what I believe. Ben was obviously a shell of himself. He was making bad decisions. There's been times last season where I'm at home watching Ben. It's cover 2. The two high safeties drop back. It's clearly cover 2. Typically, that's when you want to attack the middle of the field because it's going to be wide open. Ben hated the middle of the field for some reason. There's stats out there. Ben barely targeted. I think it was 28% Ben targeted the middle of the field. Yeah, come on. like when the dude working at Target can read defenses better than Ben at points, it's like, come on, man. Look, Ben was a shell of himself. I feel like whether it's Kenny, Mitch, or even Mason, the God-gifted ability, there's going to be at least a talent upgrade. Whether it's a skill upgrade or not, I don't know. But talent, like Kenny and Mitch and Mason, they can all relatively move. Probably can throw further. I don't know. I'm excited.
So you say you work at Target, right? Do you ever sink one deep? You ever go and get one of the American Gridiron balls and sink one deep to your staff member in aisle 6?
I don't.
No?
Unfortunately, no. I'm the only football nerd at my store.
Oh, really?
Well, just about.
No one else out there likes talking about the football or Chargers or LA Rams or whoever you got down there, Raiders?
Not as much. Football out here is different. It's
really.
It's different than, for example, I went to Pittsburgh for the Ravens game in December, and the football atmosphere out there is way different than here. Like football over there, I mean, it's one of the oldest football cities. It's cherished so much more deeply than I feel like out here. Like there's a lot of Rams fans and Cardinals fans out. I'm sorry, not Cardinals, Niners fans, Raiders, Chargers. A lot of their fans out here, but I feel like football is valued differently, like elsewhere, other places, probably the South even. Well, definitely the South, definitely in Pittsburgh. But here, like there's a couple Broncos fans here, a couple Chargers fans, but when I tell them, oh, did you watch the draft? No. Did you watch? Did you see who your team just signed? No. It's like, there's no one I can talk ball with, you know?
Maybe we're very similar. That's why we'll have, the stuff going on, because I'm in Australia. No one cares. That's why I made my page. That's why I made my YouTube page. No one cares here. So I made it. And Owen's similar too in the UK. No one overly cares, except for the Jaguars and stuff they're doing there. It's kind of cool with London stuff. But I think we're all from the same mindset of where we want to talk our Steelers. And you go up to someone, and I go up to someone, I'm like, hey, mate, how's it going? I have a conversation. I let them know. Tap me on the shoulder when you want me to stop, because I know a lot and I love talking about it. And they're just like, all right, calm down, bro. Enough's enough. You got any more? Sorry, you go, Devin.
No, I was thinking about this before I came on the show. What you two got going on is pretty damn awesome, because you guys are the only. Well, Owen, you're the only Pittsburgh channel that I can think of from the UK, right? And same with Mark, you're the only Australia Steelers channel. You guys got an awesome niche, and if you can grow your channel, I think you guys got a shot at even being bigger than my small channel.
Nah.
You guys got a shot.
You know what's funny though, because my intent was when I made the Australian YouTube, Steel Nation Australia, the other stuff I do, the intent was to reach Australian audience, and my Australian audience is 2%.
Really?
That's it, 2%. So I get like 85% American. So I'm stuck in that American time zone now. So I'm like always, because it's my Monday now, but your Sunday. So I'm always stuck in that time zone. I don't know if it's similar with Owen, but I was going to make the channel to reach out to other Australians and get them on and talk football, but it's very non-existent here. So I decided to do more stuff towards America. But yeah, thanks for the shout out, man. Like, I think we're all having a good time, and like, it's like it's good to reach out to other content creators like yourself, Devin. But Owen, do you got any more questions for Devin or?
I was going to say to Devin, when we talked about the defense earlier, do you think that, looking at the cornerbacks as they are, do you think it's something we still need to add to coming into camp or coming out of camp? I mean, there was a link the other day with Xavier Rhodes, the former Colt. Do you think that's a position we still need to add to?
See, I don't even know who's available right now. I know, who do we have? Is James Pierre still on the team? He is, right?
Yeah. So what the depth chart at the moment is something like Levi Wallace, Keller Witherspoon, Cam Sutton, Justin Lane, James Pierre, Arthur Millay, Chris Steele. I think that's it.
Yeah. Not too sexy of a cornerback room. Like, I like Cam Sutton. I think he makes a lot of big plays. Akello, he was clearly a playmaker compared to everybody else last year. But can he keep that up? I don't know. Our offense is going to stop attacking Akello because he's a playmaker. I have questions about James Pierre. Is he going to get burned every play? Well, not every play, but it's question marks, man. I would say our best corner is probably Cam Sutton. It could be Akello if he can show that he can play how he did last year consistently. James Pierre is very talented. We also got Trey Norwood. A lot of people forget about him. He's a DB. so he can play safety or corner. I'm excited for him. But is it a position we could add to? Honestly, I think it depends on who's available. Because I don't know who's available, to be honest, on the, I guess, free agency market or trade block or whatever.
We'll just go and get Richard Sherman. He's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah. I think one of the big questions I heard today I can't remember what I was listening to. I was listening to a few things today. So Mark Devin, his question then: would you offer Joe Hayden a 1-year vet minimum deal?
I don't know. I would say veteran minimum. Well, see, I don't know. The veteran minimum is what, $800,000? I feel like that would be a little disrespectful to Joe Hayden, because that's chump shit. Like, to you and me, that's life-changing money. But to an NFL player, I'd rather just go on vacation and retire.
Yeah.
I would offer Joe Hayden a 1-year contract. I wouldn't call it veteran minimum. I would offer him a 1-year contract, but for him to take more of a reserved role, lesser of a role than he played last season, because we can't have Joe Hayden being our number one corner right now. Like, he's good, but he's getting old, getting slower, getting burned more often. If he wants to play slot corner, hey, come back. If you want to play safety, hey, we'd love to have you back, in my opinion. But if we were to bring him back, I would want it on a shorter, cheaper deal. I would like to see him back, but he's moved out of Pittsburgh already. I don't know how realistic it is that he even comes back.
That's a good point you make, though. You kind of don't want to insult the player, right? Because that's like taking a pay cut for what he's been doing throughout his whole career. And if us in like normal jobs, right, then they will say, well, can you come back and earn, 10 times less what you normally get for the same? It'd be like, what? I ain't doing that. Like you said, I'd rather go to the beach and invest my money and hang out with my family. Why would I do that? So, any other questions you got for us, Devin, before we let you go, and we'll give you a shout out?
I got one. What jersey is that, Owen?
Chase Claypool.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I only saw one of the ones. No, yeah, I have a Claypool.
He's on Team Chase. I'm not on Team Chase.
I love Chase.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. I guess I want to hear both your sides.
All right. Well, I'll start. Mine pretty much is I just want to see the guy be a true Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't see him being a true Steeler like James Farrier, Debo, Hines Ward, guys like that, Antonio Brown, that are like, he's crazy now, but like the true mentality of a Steeler. I think overall, in my argument in a nutshell, I think Chase Claypool is building a bigger brand for himself than he is playing for the Steelers. That's my argument.
I think that we'll see a different Chase this year. I think that what we've heard from Chase so far this offseason has been a lot more mature, a lot more sensible, a lot more down to earth. There's also talk of him being used in the slot this year as well, where I think we'll get the best out of him, because he's not real good at high pointing. He's not really real good at getting up there and coming down with the ball. Whereas playing in the slot, he's going to get the ball much more into his chest. I think he's big, he's physical, which is something you want from your slot receiver. So I think we'll see a lot better Chase Claypool this season, to be honest with you.
So for me, I'm more on the fence, leaning towards pro Chase Claypool. Just because, I look at him last season, I was heavily critical of Chase, especially, I'm sure, Mark, you loved that first down celebration versus the Vikings.
I still don't like it. I still don't like it.
I
want him to succeed. I do. I do. Yeah. See what happens.
Personally, I was very critical of him, but then after Dwayne passed, may he rest in peace. It seemed like Chase Claypool, ever since that point, started taking football a lot more seriously than in years past. Like last season, obviously a sophomore slump. It seems like he's working hard. He's working hard on. He said this on some show, I forget which one it was, or an interview. He's mentioned how he's working on staying up, not like turning around, falling down while he catches the ball. He's talking about working on his footwork to get better. And it's like, okay, that was a problem of his last season. It's good to hear that he's working on that. So, but because of what Mark said, I'm still on the fence of him, but I'm more confident in Chase going into this year than I would have been last year, to be honest.
Yeah. I just think the reason I think that I'm against him a little bit is I think if he didn't have football, I think he would still succeed. And I think that's what he's trying to I know you got to build the brand and stuff like that. And I guess we're all building our brand online. At the same time, I think it's maybe a bit of a distraction that he's building this massive brand on TikTok and this Insta famous guy. And is he all in? Is he all in to be a Pittsburgh Steeler? But look, that is me questioning the man as well. So I don't want to get too down on the guy. I just want to see him be successful, but I just don't really see that right now with that sophomore slump last year. With those contested catches, with those plays where he checks out and Najee's still running and he's not even blocking anyone. So I just want to see him succeed, or someone, if he can't do the job, bring someone else in. But we will see. Like I cheer for him all. I cheer for bloody the unexpected guy that plays middle linebacker, like John Beeson. I was cheering for him when no one cared for him, right? I want to see them all succeed. I just think in this day and age of 2022, I think he's choosing the brand a bit too far heavily, more than he is being a Steeler. But that's me looking from the outside in and going, well, this, and this, and I'm so far away removed. So, and I'm so contradictory as well because, e.g., we're trying to grow the brand here too. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Look, I hope he goes well. I want to see him be successful. But he had a really big year in 2020, and that may have got to his head. I don't know. That may have got to his head a little bit. 11 touchdowns, and then next year, and he had 2 the same amount of receiving yards. Can he be the number one? I don't really know. And with that, Owen, can he be number one?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the skill set, he's got the talent, he's got the ability to, as long as he keeps this mature head on and this commitment to work hard. Yeah, I think he can become number one. He's not my personal tip to become number one by the end of this season, but yeah, he has got the skills to become number one.
So, Devin, what about your final thoughts on the 2022 season? What do you reckon?
I'm excited, man. Whoever the quarterback's going to be, I hope it's Kenny. If it is Kenny, I don't think he's going to look like a rookie quarterback when he does get his shot. I think he's a hard worker. I'm excited to see him whenever that happens. But whoever it is, man, I'm going to be fully supportive of the team. I do think we can make the playoffs. It's probably more of a stretch just because of how stacked the AFC is. But I don't know. I think Tomlin deserves a lot of the benefit of the doubt based on his resume. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what this team is.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for coming on, mate. The Steel Syndicate podcast and my co-host Britsburgh, Owen here. It's been a fantastic time. We have to do it again in the future, eh? Because I know you got some things going on with it here. Are you're pretty pumped up for this season with the content stuff coming out and the Here We Go show? And are you ready?
Yes, sir. I am ready. Very ready.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man, for coming on. Any final words to Devin?
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and thanks for shouting us out, Devin, as well. It's been great to have you on, and great to talk Steelers with you.
Yeah, of course, love to do it again.
As I try and scurry and try and find the where's my outro? Here it is. Thank you guys for checking out this podcast. Sorry for all the elements that I had with like someone grinding in the background, but as they're grinding, so us three gentlemen grinding out here on YouTube land. So we appreciate you guys listening to the Steel Syndicate podcast, and thank you. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.